do we understand the ending of this play? How do we understand this ending with them deciding to go back to Puerto Rico?
If we stick with the idea of man versus nature, then nature wins, in a sense, you know, like, because that was Act 1, right? What we saw?
Mhm.
So the person that was really advocating for leaving was Luis, and everyone else was devastated or sad or just sorrowful that they had to split the family and even leave the land.
Mhm.
So now that Luis is gone, they can go, it's cyclical, they can go back and be where they actually needed to be from the beginning.
Mhm.
Because I think she even says, Juanita says something like that. Hold on.
She wants to be in charge.
Well, she says,
by
for that
her
very
own
reason, Mama, when the
ox
mother
cart.
asks her about the ox cart,
Mhm.
which is on page 154, she says, for that very reason, Mama, I lost it just now. Because I do drive it wherever I want, and we'll get back before Miguel sells those acres. And if it's true that he wants me, I'll be his wife and the land will be ours, and we'll save Miguel from coming here in search of the mystery that killed my brother.
Okay.
And she goes on and on and on. But it's in that section that she's like, my ox cart is taking me where it picked me up and where it should have just left me from the get.
Okay, so it was an interruption. It was almost like this play, this part of the story was an interruption in her life.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's gonna get to go back and pick up where things left off.
Right, she's gonna marry Miguel like she was supposed to. They're gonna crop the land just like they were supposed to, and just
Okay.
pieces of
But I think the arc is that she now feels empowered. I am in charge and this is what I choose. Whereas before it would have been the predictable thing. And that
Okay.
in terms of her own growth as a woman, it makes a big difference. Just
Okay.
to think that way.
Okay.
Well, I'll marry him because I want to marry him. And that ox cart exchange, she goes precisely because I am in charge of driving and I'm deciding that's what I want to do.
Okay.
So, I think
So
she had some sort of growth and empowerment, such a new word, but
okay.
she did.
So for her now it's a decision,
Yes,
right? Where before it would have just been an expectation.
yeah. I
So,
think.
okay, so something has changed in her. Other thoughts?
Well, I actually found it interesting, like the paradoxes of the role of the woman in this play. Like, she's very vocal, talking about Juanita, she's very vocal, she's very opinionated, but she still gets up to serve her brother and her friend boy, because he's not necessarily her boyfriend, the beer, warm up the milk for the coffee. Like, it's that transitional period where you're independent, but you're still the typical good girl and you're domestic and what have you.
What does Juanita do, anyway?
She was in a factory, and I think she's
Yeah.
Got a couple of gigs.
Yeah.
Got a little side gig too.
yeah, she definitely does.
Okay.
It's like a-
So it's interesting that you see her role as being, in some ways, she seems more liberated, right? Is what you're suggesting, because she's vocal and she talks, speaks her mind, but she's still very traditional. Okay.
Yeah. But I think, and I mean, I may be completely skewed now because of the person that was playing her role here,
Mhm.
but I think that it's that battle of the campesinita from Puerto Rico, which is let me warm up your milk and da-da-da-da-da. And then it's the New Yorican, let me tell the police officer or Mr. Parkington what I think about him. And this is also 30 or so years after women even have the right to vote.
Mhm.
So women are now starting to empower themselves in general. And she's been here, I'm assuming maybe a year-ish.
Mhm.
So she's associating herself with other people and other women who are also becoming models of, what you can do. You can talk, you can share your opinions. You don't have to be submissive all the time
Mhm.
and things of that nature.
Mhm. Okay.
But I don't think at the end where she says that she's going to go back and marry him that's a decision of empowerment.
Okay.
I actually see it almost like she's deciding to go back to her original role. Because she says, if I'm supposed to marry him, then I'll marry him, and da-da-da. If this was in the cards, if this was destiny, then I'll stop fighting it and I'll just do it. That's how I read it.
I disagree.